Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at the best wildcard ahead of Game Week 13. If you still have your wildcard left over and you're looking to hit it in Game Week 13, it's an optimal week to be doing so and we have the best team for you. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please like, comment and subscribe as we are trying to hit 1,000 subs here on the FPL Tom YouTube channel. But yeah, that's kind of enough waffle from me. Let's dive into the Game Week 13 wildcard draft. And starting off our Game Week 13 wildcard draft, we do start with a goalkeeper I do own in my current team. It is Gaeta from Crystal Palace. I do believe that he is the best 4.5 million goalkeeper up until the World Cup. Amazing fixtures: Everton, Southampton, West Ham and Nottingham Forest. Over the past 3 games, he's picked up 4 save points as well. Had the mega haul against Leicester as well, which really helped kind of put him and kind of the Crystal Palace defence a little bit on the map and on people's radar, if it wasn't already as well. Really good goalkeeper, making plenty of saves. The only concerning thing is that Crystal Palace are currently 17th for XG conceded, so not kind of the good defence that they were last year when they were 5th, 4th for XG conceded. So there has been kind of a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a downgrade, but with the amazing fixtures coming up, I don't think you're going to find a better 4.5 million goalkeeper up until that World Cup period. Moving into the back line, we do start off with Kieran Trippier. Now, Newcastle's run is a little bit difficult up until the World Cup. It's 2 nice fixtures, it's 2 difficult fixtures. Starting off with a difficult one, it is Tottenham away in Game Week 13, but he is the second highest point scoring defender. He is also an absolute magnet for bonus points at the moment. He's on free kicks, he's on corners. There's a lot going for Kieran Trippier as well. And before tonight, this video is being filmed on Wednesday before all the games have kicked off. Before tonight, Newcastle have only conceded 9 goals so far this season. Really good defence. Love Kieran Trippier as well. He's becoming like kind of an FPL golden boy at the moment. The way he's picking up bonuses, picking up attacking returns and getting them clean sheet points as well. Moving on to the next defender within our side, I have gone for Eric Dyer, another man I do possess within my own team. I would potentially look to maybe take a risk on Doherty if he does play again tonight, but with Emerson Royale coming back from suspension and Spurs not quite through the Champions League group stages yet, I do think we are going to see a little bit of rotation within their defence. One of the key areas that is going to get a lot of rotation is kind of that wing-back position. I also think Perisic is an amazing shout. When they shifted to that formation on Saturday or Sunday when Richarlison got injured, the game just absolutely opened up for him and Doherty. It was like he was playing as a left winger at times. Real good potential there, but I am a little bit concerned with the potential of a risk of rotation. Good fixtures for Spurs up until the World Cup: Newcastle, Bournemouth, Liverpool and Leeds. Conte as well has built a super strong defence, 5th best for XG conceded so far this season, giving up very few opportunities. Against Everton, Everton didn't have a shot in the second half pretty much. Like, that shows how good Spurs' defensive unit has become. Very resilient, very kind of old school Italian, very good, like solid defence. I'm saying all this, they're going to get absolutely swamped tonight by Man United and this is just going to look stupid, isn't it, when you're watching it after the game. Moving on to our final defender, it is João Cancelo. I think you've got to have a City defender up until the World Cup. Brighton, Leicester, Fulham and Brentford are their fixtures. Cancelo's obviously the top pick. He obviously brings attacking threat as well. And he's looked really good this season. Some of the balls he's been delivering in the box have been absolutely sensational from him. Really good asset to own as always. Picking up some attacking returns as well along the way. His XG and XA haven't been amazing this year. He's not like kind of blowing it out the water as he was doing last year, but he's still picking up returns. City look really good at the back as well. And with those amazing fixtures and them kind of through the Champions League group already, I don't think there's going to be kind of too much rotation within the Premier League. And losing that game to Liverpool, I do think we're going to kind of see a little bit more of a focus up until the World Cup on the League Cup. No one cares about. Champions League, they're kind of already through as well. I think it's one more win they need and they're definitely through and winning the group. So I do think we are going to see kind of a solid set team from Pep for the next few weeks. But saying all that, it is Pep and he could absolutely just do whatever he wants because it's Pep, isn't it, at the end of the day? But yeah, that was the defence of the side. Let's move on to the midfield unit. Martinelli starts off our midfield. Now, I don't think you're going to find a better kind of below 7 million midfielder up until the World Cup with really good fixtures. Like I said, there's lots of attacking potential here. Southampton, Nottingham Forest and Wolves. Chelsea also haven't looked amazing, and Arsenal have been absolutely killing it. Premier League leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Good fixtures up until the World Cup. They're kind of already through their Europa League group as well, so I'm not expecting players like Martial, Saka, Jesus to kind of be featuring in that competition, so I think they're just going to be fully strength for the Premier League. So far this season, 4 goals, 3 assists, and has had the most shots among Arsenal players. Like I said, I don't think you're going to find a better mid-price midfielder up until the World Cup. Good fixtures. He's looked absolutely amazing at times. That Manchester United game, absolutely phenomenal for him. So yeah, really like him. And the Liverpool game, wow, he was honestly sensational for that one. Love owning Gabriel Martinelli. Had him pretty much from the start. I started with Saka, moved to Martinelli. It was the right decision, but we will come on to talk about Saka in a little minute. The next player within our midfield is Mohamed Salah. There's kind of been a revival of Salah, hasn't there, since the hat-trick against Rangers and obviously the goal against Manchester City, playing in blank game week 12. Obviously, I don't know what the score is going to be at the moment because I'm filming before that. He could have absolutely had a horrific game, and I'm just chatting nonsense here, but it does seem like there is a little bit of a revival for Salah and potentially for Liverpool. I do think that win against Manchester City is potentially going to have a little bit of a kickstart effect, get them ticking, get them going back in the right areas. Game week 13, pretty much 14 and 16 could potentially be captaincy material as well for Mohamed Salah. Nottingham Forest, the worst defence in the league. Highest XG conceded. Not sure how they didn't even concede last night against Brighton. So you imagine a stronger team like Liverpool will find a way. On penalties as well, Mohamed Salah. We know how good an asset this man can be when he's back in form, when he's fully firing. He's unstoppable and an easy captain most weeks. So I do think there is going to be a little bit of a shift back to Mohamed Salah up until the World Cup. Moving on to our third midfielder within the side, it is Phil Foden, the highest scoring Manchester City midfielder above KDB. 64 points for him so far this season, 6 goals, 4 assists, and seems very nailed at the moment. Obviously, last year I had him in my team quite a lot, and it put me off going for him in my Game Week 8 wildcard because I feel like I've been burnt by him before. He was obviously in and out of the side last year, playing some Champions League games, but then playing league games, and then missing league games. He was a little bit kind of like what Mahrez and Grealish do, where they're in, they're out, they're in, they're out, and it's a little bit like, I don't want to be spending 8 million on a midfielder who's doing that all the time. It seems this year that it's a completely different story. It seems that he's kind of got this connection with KDB and Haaland where they're absolutely on fire, and he's absolutely killing it, isn't he? Like I said, that strong connection with Haaland. Good fixtures up until the World Cup as well. I do think Phil Foden is going to be one of those players that could absolutely explode pre-World Cup. Hopefully takes that form into the World Cup and brings it home for England as well. Moving on to our final midfielder is Saka for Arsenal. Highest scoring Arsenal midfielder as well. 63 points for him so far this season. 4 goals, 5 assists on penalties, which for this season just seems absolutely like a crucial thing to have in your team. Trying to get as many penalty takers in there. Fits in very well with the talisman theory. He's definitely stepped his game up. Didn't start the best. A lot of people owned him and kind of had to move off him. He experienced a few price drops as well, but it does seem that he's kind of getting back to the levels that he was last season. Scoring goals, getting himself involved in play. He does seem like he's the key talisman, the key danger man, and you know I do love a good talisman. And with the good fixtures coming up, I think Saka, Foden and Martinelli are absolutely must-owns for me. Really, really good fixtures. Really good players as well. Want to go into the World Cup with good form. They're going to do it, aren't they? They're going to absolutely smash it. That was the World Cup. That was the midfield of our side. Let's move on to the front line and the bench. Haaland starts our attacking lineup, and it's kind of no surprise, is it? FPL's highest point scoring player and very much a potential captain, an easy perma captain up until the World Cup. Brighton, Leicester, Fulham and Brentford, the next few fixtures for Manchester City. Only 1 blank so far this season against Liverpool, and that was a little bit controversial as well. Potentially could have got himself an assist in that game. I think it was rightly ruled out, but who knows? Some people have different opinions, don't they? So, you know, potentially might not have blanked in that one. Like I said, easy perma captain. I'm not going to waste too much time speaking about Haaland because everyone owns him and everyone needs to own him up until the World Cup. Moving on to the man in the middle, it is Alexander Mitrovic. It does look like he's back fit and firing as well. Scored a penalty against... Who did they play? That's going to fool me. I can't remember who they played last. Yeah, that's quite bad of me. But at the weekend, he did score a penalty and looked very, very much sharp, very much on it. I had him in the game. It was Bournemouth. He played Bournemouth. There we go. I thought he looked very, very good, and I really want to own him for the next two fixtures. Leeds and Everton, absolutely amazing fixtures that we're going to be targeting on penalties as well, which just seems like such a big thing this season. Game week 15 and 16 is Manchester City and Manchester United, but I've kind of done a little bit forward planning within my own team, and I think I'm going to move Mitrovic to Skamaka if he keeps up kind of the XG and the performances that he's putting in. I think that's a right move to make. Move to Skamaka in game week 15 and get the best kind of two West Ham fixtures out of there and move Mitrovic on. But knowing him, he'd probably score against Manchester City and Manchester United. He's kind of been that good at times this season. Moving on to our final forward, it is Roberto Firmino, kind of having a little bit of a flourish, kind of, you know, putting his name out there to kind of get a contract renewal, stepping up to the mark when Liverpool need him at most. Jota and Diaz are now injured as well, making him potentially more nailed. Game week 13, we spoke about Forest having the worst XG conceded. Leeds and Southampton also poor defensively in terms of underlying data and just in general overall play as well. 8 games, 6 goals and 3 assists so far for him in the Premier League, going massively under the radar. I think if that was anybody else, we'd be clamouring to get on this guy, but I think he's still under 10% owned at the moment. Obviously, it will depend on his performance tonight against West Ham. If he plays, if he starts well, and if he scores, I think his ownership could massively, massively shoot up with Liverpool's good fixtures, and for very good reasons indeed. I think Darwin is also a potential another shout, but I'm just not quite seeing the same kind of output levels as Roberto Firmino, who seems very much in a purple patch at the moment. Moving on to our bench to finish up, Iverson, just to save some money, we're going to play Gaia every single week. Nico Williams, again, very just substandard 4 million defender. Andreas Pereira, like we said, Fulham, next 2 fixtures, really good. He's been coming off the bench for quite a few people over the past few weeks and doing all right as well. And then the last player I've included is Tarkowski. Now, Everton have amazing fixtures up until the World Cup, probably the best set they're going to get this season. It's just a shame they're quite poor defensively and they're quite poor going forward as well. There's no real standout players, standout talisman within their teams. Previously, we've had people like DCL, but it doesn't seem like he can keep himself fit for more than 2 games, or he's, you know, off doing like some fashion shoot or something. So he just doesn't seem the player that he was a few seasons ago. So I've put Tarkowski here, 4.4 million. If you are looking for a cheap defender, I do think potentially he could be one that you want to target. But that was my Game Week 13 wildcard draft. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. If you do need any help with your team or your wildcard for this game week, do leave it down below in the comments as I answer all questions down there. But like, subscribe, do all the good stuff you want to do. Hopefully you have a good game week, and thank you very much for watching.